The Mi A1 is a stellar mid-range device that we've been recommending you guys for a while now. But now that the Honor 7X, the successor to the well-received Honor 6X is here, is that gonna change? Let's find out in this video. I'm Sundar, you've been watching C4E Tech, and this is an in-depth comparison between the Xiaomi Mi A1 and the Honor 7X. Before we start, we worked quite hard to deliver this video to you guys, so we'd really appreciate it if you hit thumbs up, subscribe and that bell icon. Let's now get started. Let's begin with the build and design. No beating around the bush, the Honor 7X does have the edge here. Despite both phones sporting almost similar dimensions, the 7X has a larger 5.93-inch display, meaning the chin and the forehead are much smaller. Actually, even the side bezels are noticeably slimmer. Now the back. If you have a feeling of deja vu, you aren't alone. I felt the same too the first time I saw this phone, and that's because this back's almost identical to the Honor 9i that we recently reviewed here on C4E Tech. The two noticeable changes are the camera alignment and, more importantly, the lack of smudges and fingerprints. The phone feels great in hand. The sides are more curvy than on the Mi A1. Yes, it is not single-handed usage friendly, but it is still a pleasure using this phone. The Mi A1 on the other hand isn't the best looking device out there. Like I said, it's got huge bezels. The one good thing is that the antenna lines are hidden, unlike on the 7X. The A1 also does feel good in hand, just not as good as the 7X does. The buttons on the 7X feel more clicky, they have better feedback. Like I said, the 7X sports a 5.93-inch display with an 18:9 aspect ratio. This is an IPS LCD panel with a resolution of 1080 by 2160, while the Mi A1 sports a 5.5-inch IPS LCD 16:9 display with a resolution of 1080 by 1920. Both are equally sharp with great viewing angles. They both get considerably bright. That said, the 7X's screen is a bit more reflective. I had these phones side by side and found the A1's display to be slightly better under bright sunlight. The A1 also has better contrast, meaning the whites are whiter and the blacks are blacker. The 7X's display is also warmer than it should be, but then there is an option in settings to change the color temperature to your liking. That said, these are minor differences. The major one here is the fact that the 7X sports an 18:9 panel, and hence I'd give this one to the Honor 7X. Now let's talk about the little things that matter. The 7X doesn't have a gyroscope sensor. This could be a deal breaker if you're looking to use this for VR or to watch 360-degree videos. Apart from this, everything else, including auto brightness sensor, is present on both phones. The cellular reception and call quality were absolutely fine. Both have support for Geo-VoLTE. There was a significant difference in the audio quality via the loudspeaker and via the 3.5mm headphone jack, thanks to the inclusion of a dedicated amplifier on the Mi A1. It's louder and clearer. This is something that definitely deserves credit since not a lot of brands spend time and money on audio quality, especially for phones in this segment. What Honor's got right is the fingerprint scanner. It's noticeably faster at unlocking. That said, they are both equally good when it comes to accuracy. They rarely fail to recognize my fingerprints. Not just with unlocking, the entire experience is slightly faster than on the Mi A1, thanks to the Kirin 659 chip underneath. Don't get me wrong, the Mi A1 is no slouch when it comes to performance, because Snapdragon 625 and stock Android's a proven combination for great performance. Both can handle most things thrown at them, but when they're pit against each other side by side, like we did in the speed test comparison video, the 7X turns out to be the faster of the two. Similarly, when it comes to gaming, the A1 is slightly better, thanks to the Adreno 506 GPU. The 7X uses the same old Mali T830 MP2 GPU found on the Honor 6X. They are not poles apart, but I do find the difference noteworthy. Coming to software, here's where there's a huge difference. The Honor 7X runs on MUI 5.1 based on Android 7 Nougat. It's a pretty heavy skin with quite a bit of uninstallable bloat. There's also a slew of first-party apps that I personally didn't find useful. I'm quite choosy when it comes to apps. I stick to a certain list of apps for clock, music, videos, gallery, and so on. So the stock apps just find their way to a folder that I'd probably never open. Given that it's personal preference, this is not a negative for the 7X, but just something I wanted to mention. If you're someone who's okay with using whatever comes with the phone, it shouldn't be an issue for you. Anyway, on the features front, MUI has a lot going for it. We have App Twin, which creates an additional instance of an app so you can have two WhatsApp or Facebook accounts. There's App Lock, utilizing which you can unlock individual apps with your fingerprint. Nice. While these features aren't available on the Mi A1 stock Android Nougat, they can be brought in with the help of third-party apps like Parallel Space. The Nougat regulars like Quick Switch and split screen multitasking are available on both phones. Now here's something that sets the Mi A1 apart from its competition. regular security patch updates. Google's also promised 2 Android version upgrades, Android O and Android P for the A1. In fact, the A1 is already on a beta version of Oreo. I'm pretty sure the A1 holds an edge with regards to software here. Or maybe it's just me, maybe you prefer a heavy skin with a lot of features and like the first party apps it comes with. Let's clear this up with a poll. Both phones performed almost equally well with regards to RAM management, as we saw in the speed test. They have 4 gigs of RAM each. When it comes to battery life, with moderate to heavy usage, the Mi A1, despite sporting a relatively small 3080 mAh battery, managed to last as long as the Honor 7X did with its 3340 mAh unit. The A1 charged back up considerably faster though. It took about 2 hours, whereas the 7X took more than 2.5 hours. Let's now move on to something that I'm sure you've been badly waiting for, the camera shootout. The Mi A1 sports dual 12-megapixel cameras. One's a regular camera with an f2.2 aperture, another is a telephoto camera with an f2.6 aperture for 2x lossless zoom and portrait mode. The Honor 7X sports a 16-megapixel f2.2 camera for regular images and a 2-megapixel depth sensor to help with portrait mode pictures. The results are decent, it struggles quite a bit with edge detection, there are a few imperfections as a result. The Mi A1 on the other hand does a much better job. The execution is as good as on some of the best flagships out there. Outdoors under good lighting conditions, once again the Mi A1 is superior. Both images are almost equally sharp. In this image of the flower, the image shot with the A1 retains more detail from the petal. The colors too are much better on the images shot with the A1. Look at this comparison. The one shot with the 7X has a pink tint, and it's also oversaturated. It's worth mentioning that the images you've been seeing were shot with HDR off. Now with HDR on, the A1 once again does a much better job. There's a lot more detail retrieved from the shadows. Look at those trees. And this roof. The Mi A1 continues to dominate this shootout under low light. The A1 clicks brighter images. The building is barely visible on the image shot with the 7X. That said, the 7X has a full-fledged manual mode and a dedicated night mode with limited manual controls. I set the shutter speed to 1/4 of a second, but the way night mode worked was kinda weird. I had to tap the shutter button and wait for like 4 to 8 seconds until it finished capturing. And the result was noticeably better, managed to come close to the quality of the A1's images. But if you're going to be shooting on auto, the A1 is much better. When it comes to selfies though, the 7X does a better job. It shoots brighter and slightly sharper selfies. The skin tones though are slightly better on the A1 selfies. The dynamic range is quite similar across both images. So that's it. I still have one question to answer, and it's a big one. Which is a better overall pick for you? Well, the 7X has a better build, a larger display, faster performance, a manual mode for the rear camera, and a feature-packed user interface. If these are high on your list of priorities and you don't care about VR and don't mind taking a hit on the camera performance, the 7X is the one to consider. The Mi A1 on the other hand offers stellar camera performance, amazing audio quality both via the 3.5mm headphone jack and the loudspeaker, a stock Android experience with the assurance of regular security patches and 2 major Android upgrades, and yeah, a gyroscope. If these are what you're looking for in a phone and you don't mind if the build and boring design, then the Mi A1 is the phone to buy in the segment. It comes in only one variant with 64 gigs of storage, cost 14,000 rupees. Yes, it just received a permanent price cut of 1,000 rupees. The Honor 7X on the other hand comes in 2 variants. The 32 gig variant carries a price tag of 13,000 rupees and the 64 gig variant costs 16,000 rupees. While the Mi A1 is cheaper if we are comparing it to the 64 gig variant of the 7X, I do like the fact that Honor does give you a choice by offering a cheaper variant with half the storage. Anyway, I don't think it's gonna be a deal breaker. My conclusion is completely based on your priorities. Say you want a great pair of cameras and a stock Android experience. Even if 32 gigs is enough for you, you don't have to settle for the 7X. Spend 1,000 rupees more and get the Mi A1. It would be worth it. Similarly, if an 18:9 display with a snappier user experience is what you're looking for, don't mind spending that extra 2,000 rupees to get the 64 gig variant of the 7X. Suppose you're good with 32 gigs, well and good, you get to save 3,000 rupees. Anyway, if you're still in a dilemma and have more questions, hit me up via comments or Twitter at C4eTech, or just shoot a question with the hashtag #AskShansas and I'll ensure it's picked. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Subscribe to C4eTech if you haven't already. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to make sure you get notified each time we upload a new video on the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Sundar from C4eTech, leaving for the moment. Have an amazing day.